I think it's about time I take care of my EPC light on my car. I've had it since winter of this year, and it's September. So yeah, I think it's about time. And it's not like my car is broken or anything. It's not like I can't drive it. I can still drive it. I just can't use my turbo. Naturally aspirated. Bottles are for babies. But I also have Unitronic Stage 2, so I would like to use the power I paid for. I don't know if it's just me, but I love coming to TCR because they always have like RS3s or like, you know, one of the RSs parked all over their property. You know, RS3 here, just casually 3 more RS3s right here. And up there, TTRS. There, another TTRS. Do these things like go bad? Like common, do you get these
Oh
a
yeah,
lot?
all the time. Yeah, it's I mean, do I still have one laying around? The thing about it is it's an electrical component, you know, and just like any other electrical component on a vehicle, they're only designed to last so long, you know. So it's not like back in the day, or actually even a lot of modern cars still use vacuum actuators. Do I have one? Although this isn't a factory, this is still it's a pressure actuator. Actually, this is a vacuum actuator itself. More, it's mechanical. They don't tend to go bad as often as something that's electric, you know. So just like a starter needs to be replaced, or an alternator, or a fuel pump, these actuators, they're not immune to it. So, and you got to think, something that's living next to a turbocharger, all that heat, you know, and that it does take quite a bit of effort to keep that wastegate door closed as well. So yeah, it's definitely a common thing.
Do you know like what exactly like goes wrong usually, or?
I've taken them apart and I've seen where there's like stripped gears. But it could be a number of different things. I mean, it could be a mechanical failure inside the housing, or something, you know, in a printed circuit board, whether it's a resistor or I don't know, whatever else components go into. I've taken an IS-20 actuator apart. I want to say there's a coiled spring inside.
Yeah, I think that's the form I read, and
the spring breaks, right? And I've taken them out of other ones and rebuilt them and put them back together. But the reality is, if you have a good actuator, why would you take a good actuator apart to fix a bad actuator? You know what I mean? So unless it was like a bent rod, or you know, you could confirm that there was another issue with it and that spring was still good, then yeah, obviously you can rebuild it. So,
yeah, I bought one from someone. It's in the trunk. I guess it's not the newest revision.
When it comes to that stuff, I know people were paying attention to revisions on the turbos themselves, and then I know people used to pay attention to like revisions on coil packs or injectors. But I mean, the reality of it is, we're so much further past, in my opinion, from the very first turbocharger failures that, you know, it's a used part, whether it's the latest revision or a few revisions ago or the first revision or whatever the case may be. Your chances are still about the same for how long they last, you know. So, I honestly, I really, unless it's like a brand new component, you know, like direct injectors on the 5 cylinders, I know that trying to keep up on top of like the latest revision, but normally if I've got a box of diverter valves and I'm diagnosing a problem, I'm just gonna grab one, throw it in, and I'm like, oh, is this one G? Is this one F? This one? No, I'm just taking one that I know is working. I'm putting it in, and hopefully that cures the problem.
Well, I feel like there you go. That should answer a lot of questions people may have about these things. You know, straight from Josh himself. I think my friend's here. He said electric. I thought it was me a Tesla, but what is? Hey, are you my Uber?
Yeah.
This is a Kia?
Hyundai.
It's close enough, right? It's all electric?
Oh yeah, they're both TikTok robbable.
Police are warning about a TikTok trend showing how criminals can use a USB cable instead of a key to start Kias and Hyundais.
I think one of my biggest mistakes that I made when I first got my GTI was kind of like trying to do too much too fast, if that makes sense. Also, this isn't even the mic. The mic is up here. And when I first got my car, I was just kind of like excited just to have it in the first place. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to, you know, be part of the car community now. And I got to mod it and just mod it just for the sake of modding it versus doing stuff that, you know, actually made sense for me in my situation. Getting a muffler delete, that was such a waste of money because I was just kind of like, I didn't want to pay for a full exhaust setup or even a downpipe, and I just wanted to go like the cheap way out. So I just went to like a regular exhaust shop, chopped off a muffler and thinking it was gonna sound amazing. Wow, this this 2-cylinder and turbocharged engine. It's gonna sound amazing. And immediately after I started up my car, when I got it done, I was just disappointed. And then after I got the muffler delete, I ended up getting like Callie's downpipe, and I was like, this is gonna sound amazing. I put it on, basically a straight pipe at this point, and again, it just sounded even more garbage. It was raspy, it wasn't like aggressive. Immediately, you know, try to source a stock catback with my muffler back, and luckily someone in Pennsylvania had one, and I hit up a friend like, hey, can I borrow your SUV to transport a one-piece catback back to New York for my car? And what I got from that experience was like, do the research, you know, figure out what I actually wanted and if it fit my needs. Because also at the same time, when I first got my car, I was like, this is gonna be slammed, 3-piece wheels, you know, wrapped in like some crazy, but in reality, I street park my car. I don't have a garage, I don't have a driveway, so it's like, how would that make any sense? My wheels would be stolen. So I just kind of wish I thought stuff through more, you know, before jumping into it for the sake of jumping into it. Modding just because everybody else in the Facebook group was like, this is the way to go. And then I, you know, went that same route just because I was just kind of like eager to mod. And now I'm at the point where like my car is good. It's in a good place. And I don't need more power because I basically never even use my stage 2 power. So for me, that was kind of like my biggest mistake with modding my car, where it's like not thinking it fully through and being prepared for anything. But of course, you know, this is just my experience, my advice. Of course, you can go all out, you know, for all you want. Go get IS38, go do a 5-cylinder swap in your GTI. But that's just my experience. And if I had to do it differently, that's what I would, you know, think about and have more tasteful mods instead of just mods for the sake of modding. And coincidentally, Josh just hit me back up to come get my car, but it is not fully fixed based on what he texted me that my actuator was not the problem.
But yeah, no, dude, you're 100% capable of putting an IS38 on this thing.
Cool.
Yeah, because you can throw it. The car will have no idea. Throw a stock tune on it, drive it around and get your monitor set. Once that's done, load the file right back on there, because it's going to react the same way, whether it's got the IS20 or the IS38 on there.
Got you.
So, you know, this gives you a reason to upgrade. Get yourself a little bit more power out of it. So, but like I said, I would also, I mean, if you find one for a good price used, that's one thing, but you know, it's kind of hard to argue with FCP's lifetime guarantee on literally everything. So if this ever were to happen again, you box it up, you ship it back, you get a brand new one. You don't have to go, you know, continue to go around in circles.
So I just got back to my car, and unfortunately, based on what Josh was telling me, that my IS20 actuator wasn't the issue with my code, my EPC, that it just might be the wastegate on the turbo itself. And kind of like my solution now is basically, you know, I could drive it for as long as I want with the EPC light. I just have no boost versus, you know, upgrade to an IS38 from IS20 or buy a used IS20. So basically replace the turbo. And one of the big differences was that he was pulling his code from a VCDS, whereas I was just kind of using an OBD11. That's why we thought it was the actuator in the first place, but I guess not, since the VCDS was giving a different code than what I was getting from my OBD11. And that's about it. You know, as always, you know, thanks for watching, especially if you made it this far, and catch you on the next one. All I did was get onto the on-ramp back onto the Garden State Parkway to go home, and we're already at the EPC again.